In this video, I'll be talking about possibly the laziest way to become a millionaire in terms of effort. And you clicked on this video because you're a lazy bum, but you're thinking, how can I still be rich? Well, listen carefully because step one is very important and you don't want to skip this part. And the first step is to be born into a very rich family and ask your lovely parents for a small loan of $1 million.
Oh my God! Wow!
Then boom, you're instantly a millionaire, but more importantly, you did it the lazy way. Congrats to you. But what if you weren't born into a rich family? Well, if you weren't born into a rich family, then you already messed up, and you messed up on step one. But if you still want to be a millionaire, there are still ways to get there, and there are three big things that will really help you along the way. And let's talk about numbers first, because that will be really important to understand these concepts. So if you're 20 years old and you're investing just $10 a day with an average rate of return of 7%, all the way to your retirement age of 65, then you'll actually have $1.1 million, making you into a millionaire. But all you have to do is really contribute what you spend on an average lunch each day, which doesn't really require any type of additional research or taking on a very significant risk, as long as you hold your stocks for the long term and just keep buying those stocks. And what's very interesting about this is that you could actually see that principal, which is the amount that you actually put into the investment, is going up slightly, but virtually it's flat. And you can actually also see that the interest and the balance line starting off very similarly to how the principal line is going for almost 20 years and just exponentially grow from there and shoots up and gets steeper with each and every year. Even on the breakdown on the right shows that 80% of the entire portfolio is coming from the interest of growth, and only 14% of that is coming from the contribution that you put in every month. The first key for you to becoming a millionaire is starting early. Because if you have more time for the compound interest to do its job. And compound interest is basically the interest on both the initial principal that you put in and the accumulated interest from the previous years or periods. And essentially it's the interest on interest that will make the sum grow faster and faster rather than comparing it to a simple interest which will only impact the principal amount. Now, if you haven't really listened to all this video up to this point, this is the most important part because if you start early, then you'll give yourself a lot more time for the investments to grow. An example of this is that let's say you are investing $10,000 in the first year and is growing at an annual rate of 6% interest rate. Then the interest rate growth will be actually $600 off of that initial $10,000, and you'll have around $10,600 going into second year. Now, if you have another 6% interest growth rate, then the initial $10,000 will get again 6% growth, which will be $600, but the $600 from the previous year would also grow. So rather than having $600 of growth in the second year, you'll be getting $636, and the $36 will be coming from the previous year's $600. Now, going back to the previous example to really hammer in the point that in starting early is very important, is that if you started, rather than starting at 20 years old, you started 10 years later at 30 years old, rather than having $1.1 million at your retirement, now you actually basically have $516,000, which is $600 less than what you would have had, even though you only contributed $40,000 more in the previous example of starting at 20 years old. Now, the second most important thing is to invest consistently. For most people, it's not easy to think that you can invest $160,000 even if it's across 45 years. But if I told you, can you invest $10 a day? That's a lot more manageable in your head even. And the best thing that is that if you set your contribution to be automatic, then you're able to just set it and forget it. And in most cases, for me at least, I actually forget about the contributions. And even if it's a few months, it will consistently put in more and more money, whether the market is down or up. And when I check the investment portfolio, you can see that it's grown because of the constant contributions that I'm making. So make sure you invest consistently, even if you feel like it's not much and you're only investing like a couple of dollars a day. And that would actually, even $3 a day would amount up to $10, $100 a month. And even if you get started there, you could always increase it later on. The third factor to becoming a millionaire is to really use tax advantage accounts like a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, because they help you to avoid taxes either in the beginning or the end. And just to use the same example, and let's say you are 20 years old and you're investing again $10 a day at the average rate of return of 7% all the way to your retirement age of 65, then you'll have around $1.1 million again. But if you're using the regular brokerage account that's taxable to the government, then you actually get taxed at almost $500,000 and you only receive around $672,000. However, if you use that same amount but in a different account in a tax exempt like a Roth IRA, then you will actually get the full $1.1 million and you only get taxed when you receive your income, but your investment will be able to grow tax-free. Now, if you're interested in financial independence and earning freedom through your savings and investing, you can actually check out my free beginner's guide to financial independence down in the link below, where I'll walk you through just common questions that beginners would ask about achieving financial freedom. In the guide, I'll be answering simple questions like, why is it important to achieve financial independence? Who could ultimately achieve financial independence? And how much do I need to invest to become financially independent? So just check it out using the link below and let me know what you guys think. Thanks.